All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the webinar today. Unfortunately, Abhinav couldn't join, but don't worry, I'm here to take you through our agentic AI platform journey. And today, what we really want to discuss is some of the key use cases when it comes to agentic AI, right? Because I think a lot of us have discussed about the power of agentic AI in terms of how it can integrate, how it can be really intelligent, how different agents can sort of talk to each other. And everyone's been saying this is the year of agentic AI. But how does it, in the conversations that we've been having with our customers today, a lot of them have been asking us this very question is, okay, we know it's powerful, but can you come up with real world use cases? So today we have over 22 agentic AI use cases, which we'll sort of cover today in terms of going through how these different use cases sort of work, operate together, and we'll span the entire plethora of them, right? So we're going to talk about manufacturing, we're going to talk about customer service, we're going to talk about sales, we're going to talk about marketing, we're going to talk about research. So it's almost like transformative technology, just like you hire teams of people to do these different functions in your organization. We believe that in the next year or two, you will be hiring agent teams, which will help you do very similarly, which will assist your human teams doing these tasks. So the goal is not just to leave you with one or two or three use cases. The goal is to leave you with a vision of how this can span across your organization with 20, 25 use cases that completely transform the way your organization operates. So before I get into, since I don't have my co-host Abhinav with me today, but let me get into introducing a new co-host who shall assist me with today's presentation.
Agentic AI and wants to use it. But the real challenge? Where do you even start? And today, we're giving you a head start and showing you how it's already reshaping industries. Welcome to Fluid AI's Agentic Playbook webinar. This isn't just another AI talk. We're breaking down real-world agentic AI use cases and giving you a proven framework to apply them in your business. We've got Raghav Agarwal, Fluid AI's co-founder, hosting this session. He's got some next-level insights lined up, so grab your coffee and get on board.
Awesome. So that was Aisha Neo, our very own agentic AI created avatar. She's a AI. She's available on Aisha Neo at on Instagram. And just to showcase to you the possibilities of how these kind of AI agents can work, right? It's not just uh, text or voice, it's actually visual and video as well. All right, so let's dig into it. We are at the top of the hour and would love to sort of walk you guys through uh, these use cases and, how we are sort of looking at this agentic AI world. So let me just quickly present my screen and walk you through this. Just a second. Awesome. All right. So before we get into the use cases, I think one of the key questions that we're asked are what are these agentic models and what can they sort of achieve? And I think this pyramid sort of really sums it up when it comes to agents and AI agents, especially, and what separates them from the previous generation of RPA, of APIs, and the whole workflow based modules, etc. Right? I think the key thing is autonomy. The power of generative AI has come through LLMs. And LLMs are now enabling agents, agentic AI, to have autonomy in decision making. What does this mean in simple language? This means that agents are empowered to take action, to maybe call an API, to call another agent, to respond back to the user, rather than all of that having to be coded in or programmed by the programmer or by the use case creator. So that makes it really powerful when you have an agent that can say, hey, for this thing, I need to call an API. For this thing, I need to call another agent. For this thing, I need further input from the user. And that becomes a really powerful paradigm. And that leads to my second point. It leads to a flexibility in the myriad of use cases that are possible, right? In the old, we could do very structured flows. But now in the new agentic world, you can do very complex flows which involve a lot of thinking back forth with the user being very different about things. That's all possible. And that all comes from goal oriented orientation, right? The agents are not simply set, okay, follow this flow A, B, C, D, E, but actually be goal oriented. A sales agent's goal is to close the deal and onboard a new customer. A support agent's goal is to actually go ahead and support the customer and ensure customer satisfaction. A manufacturing agent is in optimizing inventory. So that's the kind of goal we can give them. And finally, they're truly adaptable to the environment in terms of integrating with your systems, their outputs being in voice, visual, in any kind of format in terms of an action on a system. That's all possible using Agentic AI. How do these look and feel in the real world, right? Essentially, what happens with these kind of agents is that, and what I have on screen is a very example agent for newsletter. So newsletters can be done by an LLM. I can give it a prompt and say, create a newsletter for me. But where agents take it to the next level is they can plan, they can research, they create the newsletter, and they send the email. So when you divide that task into four different agents, all connected to each other, but each specializing in an action, the kind of outputs and effects you get are manifolds better than a single LLM answering your query. So that's what we believe, that when it's a team, each agent almost plays an integral role, connecting not just an LLM, but connecting to a system, connecting to internal knowledge, connecting to knowledge on the World Wide Web, and then taking actions as well. And one thing that we're very clear about, that the outputs today are way beyond text, which a traditional LLM can do. They can be an action on another system. They can be a voice phone call. They can even be a video avatar, AI avatar that's created that can enable a lot of this going forward. And one thing that's interesting within all of this is that you have the power of using the best LLM for each AI agent. This allows each LLM model to be very different, yet very specific for the use case. If I go back to the newsletter agent example, agentic AI model example, I can have DeepSeek maybe plan out my newsletter. I can have an OpenAI agent write the newsletter because I like the creativity. And I can have maybe Llama actually execute the action of creating the email body which goes along with my newsletter. What that allows is to bring a family of LLMs together to do the best work that they can, and for your agent to be specially specialized. So it's no longer about selecting a single LLM, but you can have a team of LLMs solving this. And these LLMs can rest both offline as well as online when it comes to this. We at Fluid AI have a long, almost a decade's worth of experience in this space. We have been in agentic AI for the last 2 years. We launched the world's first video AI avatars of Warren Buffett almost 6 years ago for the 100th anniversary of Forbes. And we've written the world's first AI written book called Bridging the AI Gap. All of these were complex agentic AI problems wherein multiple AI agents needed to talk together to get the final output out there. So today, 22 AI use cases, agentic AI use cases I'm going to cover. These span everything from manufacturing to customer facing to sales to marketing. And we feel these are four areas that are extremely effective. But they go beyond that. to internal operations, where we're going to talk about things like HR help desk, KYC, data analysis, where we combine existing AIs for working together in terms of working your statistical tools can be used by AI agents to decide, and AI assistants for research. Now we've all seen DeepSeek and OpenAI launch their LLMs, which are good at research, but can agents take that to the next level? I see we have a question from Palak. How do we decide on which LLMs to use when, and how should we ensure the security guardrails? That's a great question, Palak. So essentially, when it comes to agent selection, LLM selection for each agent, you got to see what the agent's going to do. For instance, if it is an agent on an IT help desk and I feel it's going to undertake complex IT tasks, I may use Anthropic's agents because typically Anthropic has a fairly good aspect when it comes to coding and programming. But that doesn't mean that the response to the user, which is, okay, I've solved your query, needs to be by Anthropic. I could probably use an agent like Llama out there to compose a quick email saying your response is done or your query is resolved, or I need further information to resolve. So that way, I can use specialized agents. I can use Anthropic for the programming side. I can use Llama for the communication side. And all of that can depend on not just the ability. Obviously, that's a big part of it, but also on cost, right? So you can run cheaper agents where maybe you have much simpler tasks, cheaper models, and you can have more expensive LLMs run where the models are more expensive. Coming to the guardrails, so each agent can almost have their very own guardrail setting, right? Let's say you're talking about customer support and you don't want your customer support agent to go beyond what's there in the knowledge book. Now, each of those agents can then be given a guardrail saying you can only answer queries which are within the bank's data set and not beyond that. So, someone asks you a random question on politics, don't go there. Uh, in fact, you can even have a guardrail agent. So before the communication comes out from the agentic system, you can have one last check by a specific guardrail agent going ahead and checking on all the outputs. Are they secure? Are they private? Are they relevant? And are they managing all guardrails? So agentic, they can literally be a guardrail agent coded in as well. All right. So let's start with one area which we are seeing a lot of interest about, which is manufacturing. And these are typically a lot of the previous conversations we've had on agentic AI or in general Gen AI have been in customer facing businesses, banking, telecom. But manufacturing is now catching up with a level of agentic AI use cases that can be launched in the space. One of the key areas we're seeing is the smart factory. That's use case number one. What we are seeing with the AI smart factory is the current scenario that rests within a factory is you have a lot of guides, troubleshooting information, manuals. And when a machinery goes down, folks are sort of referring these large PDFs or maybe printed manuals. And you have the IoT systems, which sort of have all the history of how all these machines have worked, when have they broken down, when was the last maintenance done. These are working in silos. So when the machine actually breaks down, there's someone who's checking the IoT system, what happened last, someone who's opening the manual and going through it. And a repair, a repair on the shop floor can take anywhere from 8 to 12 hours on average. Now, if you have AI agents, one which deals with the unstructured data, the manuals, the troubleshooting guides, etc. One which deals with the structured data, which is your IoT data, any kind of ERP data, what was the production on that machine in the last 6 months, combines that, and we have a resolution agent which then gives you the resolution on the shop floor, which can be in voice, which can be in text, which can be even in a video, to the shop floor workers saying, hey, this is how you resolve this particular problem. That takes down the resolution time from hours to minutes, and we've seen that in terms of the impact that can have, because each hour wasted on the shop floor of the machine down is a lot of money. But with this agentic AI system available across platforms, you now have the ability to move to a smarter factory. A second agent. So let me quickly sort of show you something like this an agent.
Welcome to
I'm going to quickly sort of just show you how this agent would work. In this scenario, the user is first asking a query and getting the answer from the knowledge graph with the knowledge guides in terms of how an oil refinery is supposed to work. They can also ask questions from the IoT data system, wherein they are saying, okay, can you list the operational equipment with the last maintenance dates, which can come from the IoT data or can come from an ERP database. And the system can query it. It creates the SQL query on the fly. It's integrated directly with the database and it can create an output for you. So imagine if machine X is down, you can say, hey, this is the error code I'm getting. What should I do? You get the answer from the manual. You get that this machine is typically giving you issues, and you can then work with that to solve your problems faster. The second use case that we're very excited about is the CEO's right hand. So typically, anyone in the manufacturing space, the management teams, they're seeing a lot of dashboard data, right? The IoTs, the ERPs are pushing a lot of data to them. But what they're not pushing is insight. And here we can literally have different AI agents monitoring different systems. Something monitoring the IoT system, something monitoring the ERP system, another agent monitoring maybe just the general communication that's occurring on email. And all of these bring to the CEO the critical focus, the bottlenecks, the growth opportunities, and the data that they need on a daily operational basis to undertake and to focus on. The result of all this is an effortless drive to improve supply chain is taken care by a team of AI agents assisting the CEO, moving much beyond the old dashboards which the CEO has to open every day and then sort of drill down into. This is true insight where each agent is observing these different systems and trying to derive knowledge and wisdom back to the CEO. A lot of manufacturing businesses have transportation as a key component. In terms of looking at intelligent transport optimization, where you look at saying is that how do we, when we are maybe running our own trucks, our own transport facilities, ensure that one, the transport is safe, there is no overspeeding happening, especially when you're transporting volatile chemicals, inflammable materials. Secondly, it's most cost effective. The right routes are followed, the right kind of policies while driving are followed to ensure fuel efficiency. Most IoT systems are tracking these transports, right? They're tracking the transport vehicle itself. But to get insight from that, at the time, you can actually have AI agents monitor these AI, IoT systems and then have a second AI agent actually connect with the drivers of these vehicles at the right point in time, telling them that, hey, we see that you're driving in an unsafe manner. We see that you're driving off the regular route. You've gone to an alternate route, which is more expensive or longer and get that self correction done immediately, right? So it's great for an IoT system to provide you that information, but it still requires a human to sort of call. Imagine multiple AI agents monitoring our IoT systems, connecting with drivers directly over phone, over WhatsApp, and getting the self corrections done almost instantaneously. In our experience, this has saved massively, both in terms of cost as well as in industries where it's largely a safety issue while transporting hazardous materials. It ensures that drivers are following all proper precautions. So obviously, I'm going to 22 AI use cases today. So, Janvi, you can share the link, if for anyone, if they want to go much deeper into a particular use case. Today is obviously, I'm offering you the buffet. I'm just giving you a teaser taste. But, if anyone wants to go deeper into any of these use cases, please fill up the form. Janvi has shared it on the chat. And we'll be happy to get in touch and have a short session walking you through much more detail into that use case. Another interesting use case is inventory. Inventory is a challenge not just in terms of what's on ground, but maintaining that in your ERPs. Typically, for large organizations, the SKUs that may be in the inventory may exceed over 50,000. And typically, when someone's making an entry to select the right SKU in the ERP, can be very challenging whether it be SAP, Oracle, we have seen in our experience with organizations that typically to understand what's actually in the factory and what's in the ERP are two different things. Because, hey, when someone's trying to make an entry of what's come in, they may actually make a new product rather than adding it to an existing product. Using a smart AI agent at this step to firstly understand the product that's coming in, even visually, like the user can snap a photo, they can obviously upload the invoice with the supplier's information, comparing it to the goods that are existing within the ERP, and then doing that match out there to ensure that there is no duplication, there's no unnecessary creation of new SKUs, and to ensure that the ERP is only showcasing the correct SKUs has been a big game changer for many organizations which have had a challenge while managing their entire spread of inventory in the ERP. The very newest AI agent that we have seen, and that typically comes in manufacturing, is in the side of sourcing. Typically, when you're sourcing, you have historic data which rests in the ERP or in some other accounting system. You also have your new bill of materials. Let's say you're setting on a new project, which may have come from a planning tool or which may have come from a planning exercise. It may be a PDF, it may be an Excel sheet, it may be a PowerPoint. Now, and you may have quotes from your vendors against each of those line items in your bill of materials. The challenge is you do not know how your vendors are pricing compared to your historic prices that you paid for the similar kind of items and goods. Using AI agents, that one AI agent that is looking at all the data in your ERP, another AI agent which understands the bill of materials, the quantums that you're ordering, another AI agent that compares the quotes that have come from vendors. These three AI agents coming together create a smart system. For each line item in your bill of materials, you're literally able to see what your vendors have quoted, what you've paid in the past, what is the differential, and where you should maybe, and an AI agent to even negotiate with vendors saying, hey, this is what we have paid in the past, and we would like you to bring your price down by 10%, 15%. This kind of AI agentic system can be truly powerful where a large number of new procurement of or projects are going online. So we have covered the entire gamut of manufacturing. Obviously, there's still a lot to be done, but this was just to lighten up your imagination in terms of saying what is possible in the field of manufacturing using AI agents. Customer support, especially multimodal customer support across different channels, email, WhatsApp, phone calls, SMS, and live chat, text chat on the website, is a key differentiator. We believe that unlike the RAG agents of the past, wherein you simply provide information, the new agentic AI systems can actually take actions. They can block credit cards, they can generate statements, they can look up credit scores. The integration with your systems is the key when it comes to customer support, and the new agentic AI platforms like Fluid AI can do that for. It helps you expand not just on your customer service promise, but it expands the number of channels. So let's say you're only doing phone, you can now open email, live chat, WhatsApp as a channel. Let's say you're supporting support from 9 to 5 p.m. You now have the ability to provide 24 by 7 support to all your customers at no extra cost. And we believe there's an evolution that you can have when you look at agentic AI when it comes to customer support, moving from email to live chat to phone support. Let me show you a quick video of this in action where we've implemented this entire thing for one of our customers.
You better turn up. Cut costs, scale support, and improve response times. Do it all without hiring more agents. The solution? Here's how we did it. This is a smart team of AI agents working together, like an office team, each with unique skills. They reason, use the right tools, adapt to different LLMs. So, why don't we see the workflow in action? Our Agentic AI dynamically hands off tasks between agents, activating the right one at the right time for transparent, efficient problem solving.
can even handle things on email. We showed you WhatsApp, wherein it's now an email, and then you can go up to 100% containment rates. Some of these organizations went up from 45% to 100% SLA on responding with each email within less than 30 minutes. You also have insights, and then you can have these on chat as well, where you can have text chats. And then obviously you have phone call as the ultimate. And one of the great things about these is that you can change context. So here the customer wanted his balance, but she then said, no, actually, can you block my card first? That kind of context change was not possible in your traditional chatbots. Now, using agents, each of these, they can seamlessly shift the context as the customer is shifting the context as well. And there you move from 9 to 5 to 24 by 7. And this,
Checking that for you now. Please hold on. I can assist you with the card block
Actually,
process.
can I check my credit card balance first?
Checking that for you now. Please hold on. I can assist you with checking your credit card balance. However, I need to authenticate you first. Could you please provide your TRN tax registration number?
This isn't just automation. This is AI that thinks, reasons, and delivers unmatched customer support. And those agents that you just witnessed, well, they are the ones who created me.
so
You
it's not
better
just,
turn up. Cut
ironically,
costs.
even the Aisha in that video was created by AI agents. So you can see how the journey starts from something as simple as email to WhatsApp to live chat to voice. And one of the use cases that we have seen is that you take it beyond customer support, and especially in industries like banking and telecom, it can even engage with prospective customers. It can qualify them, it can guide them to the right product, and it can help onboard them instantaneously. One other flip that we have seen is very interesting is to vendors. Typically, your procurement teams are spending a lot of time interacting with vendors on where the invoices, what's the payment, how's the inventory moving. All of that can be done with a very similar paradigm to customer support by having a vendor engagement AI agents. This could be a team which can interact with vendors on everything from invoice to payments to inventory information and directly link to the key systems which have that information ready for the vendor. So some of the case studies we're very excited about is with one particular institution wherein now a 20 processor on a phone, 50% AI voice automation has been achieved, and $5 million have been savings have been achieved in less than 6 months. That's an 8x return on their annual spend already. From support, we move on to sales. And in sales, what we have seen is Agentic AI can enable you to do a very interesting sales engagement experience if you can sell digitally. Here, it provides the customer real time information on products. So, this can be an agent that can scan your website. It can also look at competition analysis if you allow it to do so. So, it can compare your product compared to competition and it can give the benefits vis a vis competition. It then supports the customer through the decision making process. We literally are using these kind of agentic AIs on the Fluid AI website to counsel customers on architecture, on the possibilities of agentic AI, on use cases they should be implementing. Because a lot of them are coming up with very, very fundamental questions, which typically they would have engaged with our team, set up a time. But now with our AI agent, they're able to get that first level support going. We are then able to send detailed proposals, customized, personalized proposals, which an agent can create basis those conversations. And then we seamlessly transact with the customer and onboard them when they're ready to buy. So all these four agents can really come together and create a beautiful symphony. Now, for a B2B business where the transaction is not online, but it still requires an amount of negotiation, the AI agents can still help human sales agent understand the buying pattern of the customer previously. Instead of having to open an ERP, download reports, it can be a discussion right before you enter an important meeting or right before the salesperson visits a distributor, saying, hey, what has been the buying pattern of this particular customer? Have the sales been going up or down? What has been the product mix that he's preferred? Secondly, you can check your inventory real time and see what the matches are between what the customers ordered in the past and what kind of inventory we're holding right now to offer them very customized kind of proposals. Finally, the proposal creation process itself moves through an agent, which creates a dedicated presentation, a deck, a PowerPoint, a PDF, and can send that proposal by email and have a negotiation with the final buyer as well.
Ever
This is a
imagine
short
when AI is
demo
so
of
smart?
how the entire, a proposaling AI can work. Wherein it creates a proposal, it sends an email through as well. You can see, it's creating one in terms of for a particular solution for agentic AI in financial sector, and then it can go ahead, create an email, send that across, and move from there as well. Right. So let's move ahead to some marketing use cases, which are more broadly around how can agentic AI sort of really help you when you do your marketing and create brand recognition, help you in your branding activities as well. One of the key things, and we've seen Aisha before, and she's up on screen again, is we really believe that AI avatars can enable any brand today to have a personification. These can be used for consistent branding on internal training, website advertising. They can be created, customized to your brand voice, and you can easily create content for different places, right? From Instagram, LinkedIn, to your own website, to a training video. It can be even a real human. So it can be a CEO, a co-founder. It can be a brand ambassador that you've maybe in the real world. It can help you sort of augment them as well. And you can visit our very own Instagram influencer on Instagram called Aisha Neo, where she has scaled to about 11,200 followers. And we are posting a new video every week with Aisha and using her in almost all our branding activities. So you can check her out. Aisha is also, yeah, I'm just going to play a short video of her in action.
Grok 3 just landed. And if the numbers are real, OpenAI and Google should be worried. Grok 3 just landed. And if the numbers are real, OpenAI and Google should be worried. Beyond raw power, Grok 3 unlocks advanced reasoning.
So it's obviously an entire video, and you guys can follow her, but you can see how lifelike that interaction was, wherein our team, our agentic AIs took less than a few minutes to generate Aisha out there for her to have that conversation with you. Content creation is something that all of us have been doing using LLMs, right? You have wherein you give a prompt and you get a blog out, or you give a, maybe a kind of an idea, and you sort of work with ChatGPT to create some sort of material for your website. But when you look at it from an agentic perspective, it can get so much richer. Imagine your entire planning about what to write about is happening through an agent, which is scanning the World Wide Web, as well as your information knowledge base. Another agent is sort of saying, okay, these are the key insights we could talk about. Another one is creating the actual content. Another one is posting it and customizing it for different platforms, maybe a different post for Instagram, a different for Twitter, a different for your blog. All of these agents working in cohesion can massively multiply your content output, going beyond just a single LLM interaction, because now you have the ability to sort of have these string together to create everything from the content calendar to the final push of content into your blog, into your social media channels. All right, we're making good progress. We are at 14 out of 22. And now we want to talk about some things that are more internal facing. These kind of use cases are typically present for almost each and every organization because they typically deal with HR, with their daily operation stuff, with IT, those kind of things. One of the things most customer facing organizations have, consumer facing, is KYC, whether it be banking, telecom, financial services. And here the AI agents can really turn around the KYC process. They take customer documents. You have a vision AI which agent which can take in the customer documentation. It extracts the data from that. It understands what are the different data fields, what kind of document is out there. There's another AI agent which can hit databases. It can hit the government's APIs. It can hit authenticate whether that document provided to you is accurate. And if there is a problem in that information, there's another AI agent which can communicate to the customer, asking for another document, asking for more clarifications. All of these together can automate about 85 to 90% of the KYC process. So you can have faster onboarding, better compliance using these multiple AI agents together. Let's show you a quick demo of this in action in terms of what this kind of looks and feels like. I'm going to quickly just take it to. All right. So that's your vision extraction agent, which can sort of take in data from different data sources. Imagine that document moving through out there, and then from there, it's going ahead to the detailed analysis. It's pushing apart and breaking down that document into its different details. It's doing a review. It's comparing validity with the national database. It's taking a decision and then authenticating the actual agent itself. So that's on the KYC side. Oops, I've got. And then when you look at it from a employee HR assistant, we've talked a lot about customer support, but typically when you scale beyond 1,000 employees, HR can become quite time consuming in tasks of daily answering employee queries, which again have a structured, unstructured aspect to it. Right? You have structured queries, which you typically are hitting a HRIS system for leaves, payroll, benefits, etc. Wherein typically employees do not want to interact with the HRIS, login, etc., but they would like to have a conversation. Secondly, you have unstructured information, which are your policies, your maybe guidelines, all of that, which the employees sometimes have, want to access quickly. Imagine AI agents which access both the structured and unstructured world and give employees instantaneous answers to these different queries as they go about their workday. This increases the efficiency of your HR by 50 to 60% because 60% of all queries can now be answered by these AI. So, in interest of time,
Welcome to the Fluid AI Agent.
we there was a demo on that. You can check it out on our YouTube, which talks about how an HR help desk can sort of work through this. One of the key things that HR looks at is interviews and hiring, right? And the key challenge is the current ATS process is fairly manual. You have to reach out to candidates to schedule time. Once that is done, someone manually has to conduct an interview, and eventually you've screened folks through. Moving beyond just resume screening, which traditional AI has been able to do, 4 to 5 AI agents can link up. So you can have resume screening agents, you can have calendaring agents, we can schedule time with recruits, and then you can have AI interviewing agents, which can do that first, even second pass level interviews, going deep into the kind of knowledge candidates have, posing problems to them which require deep reasoning and understanding their fit in terms of culture, in terms of their mindset with the organization. And that allows your HR department to then come in at a much later stage to finally talk to candidates who have sort of gone through all these filters. And that too with the calendaring being done again by an AI agent, which helps us at the right time. Again, these are multimodal AIs. They can correspond on text, they can have voice conversations, they can have video conversations. And the same concept and paradigm comes to IT help desks, right? When you look at IT help desks, it becomes even more powerful because the AI agents can actually undertake actions on each of the IT systems within an organization. We have seen up to 80% of automation happening using AI agents. So, right from password resets to setting up new users to guiding users through cybersecurity incidents, all of that can be done by these AI agents. So now leaving the world of your internal processes and all of that, let's go to the world of data analysis. Typically, what we have seen is that AI is considered almost a separate, agentic AI is considered a separate tool from traditional ML and statistical tools. But now we have the opportunity, and this is something we're very excited about, integrating traditional ML into agentic AI. Imagine agentic AI, AI agents having ML capabilities. Someone able to run, an AI agent able to run regression, something able to run correlation versus casualty, something able to run linear coefficients, etc. All of that is happening on your existing data. So there's an AI agent which pulls in all your existing data from maybe your ERP, your CRM, all your different systems. And then you have an AI agent that pulls in all of that. They run their different ML models, their different statistical models on that, and they give you insights. Those insights are then converted into reports. So we move from data to an AI agent running ML, to an AI agent getting the insight, to an AI agent giving you a report with those insights. So the entire flow becomes from system data to a report on that data in within a set of 5 to 6 agents getting that out to you. Another interesting area, which is use case 19, is efficient reporting. Most financial departments and operational departments have a lot of end of month reporting, which is not complicated in today's system driven world. But what is complicated is to see the differential, the growth, and the reason behind the change. So, for instance, let's say sales has gone up 30%, great. But do we want to go in and say, product A sales have gone up 50% and product B is down 5%, and give that level of insight? That's where these AI agents, which connect to the systems, they not only create the report, they create the change and they create the portfolio of how the change has occurred. And importantly, another AI agent can analyze and say why the change has occurred as well. So all three of these combined together becomes very powerful in terms of saying how change is occurring and why it's occurring and explaining that as well. Another interesting paradigm has been of the dashboard world, right? I think a lot of the C-suite executives today have multiple dashboards. But to get granular access to data and sometimes to get the true insight, they still want to ask queries, which typically in our world today have involved in people sort of having to go ahead and build a new dashboard taking 2 to 3 weeks. But if we can make every query a plain English query where a C-suite executive can just simply go ahead and ask a query saying, hey, why has this happened? Or can you drill down into that particular region, that particular product, and tell me what's happening there? And then get insights from your complex systems, putting together maybe massive amounts of SQL, Snowflake data together, and giving that insight has been a great use case of AI agents. And the ability of agents to break down these complex queries into simple answers, each agent to talk to maybe a single system, and then a master orchestrator agent to put together the information these smaller agents have got together to create one answer to some pretty complex queries. The final area that we are very excited about, and I'm on use case 21 right now, is compliance. I think a lot of times compliance is, you've got a lot of documentation, you've got a lot of forms from the regulatory authority who you comply with to fill up. And a lot of time is spent in sort of saying, okay, what kind of information from my documentation goes there so I satisfy it? Or if there's a gap in your documentation or gap in your processes, what do I need to do to sort of improve them? Here is where AI agents can understand your current systems as is. They can understand, another agent can understand the requirements from a compliance perspective, can do a gap analysis in terms of what the gap is between what is there with you and what is required, can fill up the compliance related forms, especially in areas like life sciences and healthcare, where a lot of compliance data needs to be provided to regulators, and can also point out areas where you may not have data, areas where your processes may not be up to spec on compliance, and suggest the relevant improvements. This entire flow, where you're looking at huge amounts of compliance data, huge amount of documentation be done to fill up these kind of forms, is best solved with AI agents, each sort of targeting a specific part of the problem. A very interesting use case, and this again comes to the life sciences and scientific field, is the patent strategy with AI, wherein AI, you can have AIs monitor patent filings in particular fields or across all fields. They can compare that to your existing IP intellectual portfolio, see if those patents are somehow conflicting or related to your current IP or intellectual portfolio, and then go ahead and give you advice and recommendations, including drafting legally sound patents, which may not, violate other patents, etc. And it speeds up the entire innovation cycle with intelligent AI research. So I have given you 22 AI use cases, agentic AI use cases. I'm pretty sure you have thought of another 10, 15 as we've gone down this conversation. And the question you may be having is, hey, Raghav, how do I select which ones to go with first? And this is a popular chart that we have been talking about in our previous webinars as well. I think the best way to do this is a simple diamond. You have business value on the left, you have feasibility on the right, and you just map out the high business value, high feasibility use cases, and we put them in the likely events which we attack first. We then attack as we gain our AI agentic maturity, use cases where the business value is high, but feasibility looks complex. A lot of change is required, maybe. And then we take those calculated risks. We can then also attack where the feasibility is high, but we see business value is sort of low, as the marginal gains, which we sort of then, quickly sort of knock down as we are very mature in our agentic AI. One thing that we sort of really emphasize is this is the year of agentic AI. You should be launching a new agentic AI use case every 60 days. That builds your AI muscle. That ensures that the AI tools, the AI agentic platform you're using allows you to innovate quickly. Because remember, the end goal is not to have 2 to 3 AI agentic teams, but is to have maybe your complete organization transformed by agentic AI, which could be 20, 25, 30 agentic AI teams in your company. So here, I'm just going to quickly summarize some of the use cases we feel which are most interesting for different industries. For banks, we feel customer support is an easy win. Sales is another easy win. KYC is great. And IT and HR help desks, obviously, for the larger banks work out there. Manufacturing, we believe the smart AI factories, inventory optimization, AI avatars for training is another interesting aspect out there. Those could be some of the easy AI use cases you could take up as you go ahead. For telecom, I think again, its customer support is a leader. Vendor management through AI can become interesting because telecom typically you have a lot of vendors who are sort of working with. KYC is another one that can get quite powerful out there. And in the life sciences and the healthcare space, I think a lot of stuff around patents we focused on, and especially on the data analysis side, because there the clinical research data sort of really expands and grows from there. So, as I come to the end of today's webinar, I think one of the key things that we want to say is that when you look at your AI agent strategy, look at it not as a grand design. And the example of that was the Sydney Opera House. When they sort of built that, they did a competition for a design. They selected the best design, and then they broke ground and they realized it was a very complex design. They were many times over budget, and they were 10 years late. Whereas when they built the Guggenheim Museum, they selected a good architect. They did a competition with the best architect, who then took a small room and built a small model of the Guggenheim Museum. He then built a slightly bigger model. Then he built a room size model. And then he built a or maybe a 3 room size model. And then finally they broke ground. They were 10% under budget and right on time. When we say go ahead with agentic AI, we say obviously select your use cases, but keep it as a flexible strategy, not as a grand design. You can literally implement from today's presentation 3 to 4 great use cases and then go deeper and deeper and grow your strategy organically rather than having to figure out everything right here, right now, today. So, great question from Hasid. He's talked about what is the expectation of current systems for agents to integrate seamlessly. I think it's not so much about your current systems having to do much. It's more about the agentic AI platform you select should be able to work with them. Because with current agents, you have the ability to either absorb APIs, but you also have the ability to look at agents which can work with legacy systems which don't have APIs because they can be like literally like operators, right? They can sit on top of your machines and can do actions. So I would say the expectation from a system level is just connectivity. But it's not necessary that uh, it's the AI agent platform that needs to be flexible enough, and that's where I would say the need really falls through. One last misnomer is that a lot of agentic AI can only run on cloud. I think that is something we believe it can run completely on premise. So if you have compliance, if the cost is a constraint, agentic AI is 100% possibility on premise, and we've been doing that for lots of customers globally. That's it for me today. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you are interested in any particular agentic AI use case, please do fill up the form. Janvi has shared the link. You can also join our agentic AI community. We'll share the link of that too in the chat. It's on WhatsApp. We share new ideas in terms of what Gen AI can do, how we can transform, and just some news, etc. out there. So thank you, everyone, and look forward to being in touch. And thanks for your time today.